Suicide is incredibly misunderstood and stigmatized in our society. I think, as a psychiatrist, that if we want to prevent suicide, we have to start by doing a better job of understanding it, and that's what I'm going to try to help us do in this video. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to try to conduct a social experiment that will prove to you one of the first points I have to make here, which is that no two instances of suicidal behavior or thinking are quite the same. We should probably start by discussing what are the similarities, and the common landscape to much suicidal thinking and behavior is that space between desperation and hopelessness. When you think about this, the desperation comes from an intense desire to escape an intolerable internal experience, whether that experience be in the realm of anxiety or depression or some other similar thing. By the time a person is having thoughts of suicide, they have probably attempted absolutely everything to resolve that internal turmoil. They've tried reaching out for help and it didn't work. They've tried solving it themselves and it didn't work. They feel like they're out of ideas, so they're in this state of being completely desperate. And because they've tried so many different things, that is where the hopelessness seeps in and begins to appear justified. So in that deep, dark valley between desperation and hopelessness, a person is desperately trying to find some sort of escape, and that is where the fantasy of suicide arises. From a psychological perspective, the function of the suicidal behavior or thinking can be very different between people. Now, a lot of what I'm about to say is unconscious, so bear with me here. For some, suicidal behavior, thinking, or statements represents the only reliable way they have found to have their social environment respond to them in an empathetic and supportive way. Which is why much of the time the person doesn't actually harbor an intense desire to be dead. There is an ambivalence. There's this sense that I really don't want to keep experiencing what I'm experiencing now, but it's not that I want to be dead, it's that I want this problem to be solved. And the closest I've come to solving it is when people actually respond to me in a warm and empathetic way when I demonstrate suicidality. And again, this is not conscious. It's not helpful to think of this as faking or manipulation. It is a genuine expression. For others, actually engaging in the act, either the planning or the self-injurious behavior, represents some form of control or catharsis. And here we haven't even begun to get into suicidality that arises in states of psychosis or mania, often involving command-type auditory hallucinations. For the experiment, if you have had any first-hand experience with suicidality, either as a provider, a psychiatrist, a clinician, a therapist, or in your own life, I want you to answer one question in the comments. Where do you think it came from? I think this is a discussion in which we will all learn a lot from each other and be that much better equipped to prevent suicide.